Hello, it's time for Flashback, the weekly history quiz. Let's find out what's happened in history. In 1897, crowds of people joined the Klondike Gold Rush. Even the mayor of Seattle quits his job to go north. Amazing. Against that, the philosopher Democritus smells fresh bread and deduces that particles are wafting from the loaf to his nose. He calls tiny, indivisible objects atoms. That's a pretty good intuitive deduction there. We'll put that well before 1897, 400 BCE. Alex Trebek debuts as the host of Jeopardy! When he later marries, he says his wedding vows in his trademark style. The answer is yes. Yikes. All right. We'll put that obviously in the late 20th century, the 70s or 80s probably. 1984. Andrew Jackson pays off the national debt, selling federal land to help do so. His policies contribute to a real estate crisis, putting the U.S. back into debt. Whoops. That's earlier in the 19th century. It's the early 19th century. 1835. The Stonewall riots in New York ignite protests for gay rights, debating mottos like gay power. Activists feel like they don't have power, just pride. Oh, there we go. What year is that? 60-something? Yeah, 69. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I should have known 69. Anyway, fearing a crisis caused by too many children, Deng Xiaoping introduces the one-child policy to restrict births. I can't remember if Deng Xiaoping, that would have been after this then. Yes, 1979. Good, okay. Factory worker Vesta Stout realizes that U.S. troops in combat need strong tape that can handle anything. She comes up with duct tape. Wow, interesting. I assume that's the 40s. Yes, 1943. I figured that would probably be Second World War. The Metamorphosis is written by Franz Kafka, who at times sees himself as repulsive. His friends, by contrast, call him handsome, witty, and charming. That'll be somewhere in here. Yes, 1915. I watched this. I really enjoyed. There was I guess it was a German-produced series. It was simply called Kafka, and it was a fictionalized, it was a TV show fictionalization of Kafka's life. But I really enjoyed it. It was maybe 6 episodes. I thought it was great. Along the Mediterranean, the Greeks. It was from a couple of years ago. Along the Mediterranean, the Greeks found the city of Marseille. It learns to make its own alcohol, which is one of the origins of French wine. Fascinating. I'm going to put that here. No, I was wrong. 600 BCE. Oh no, it was before 400. I should have thought about that with Greeks. If the Romans had done it, maybe it would have been a bit later. What a shame. Okay, so almost a perfect score, but not quite. I was in actually the most common category here. And in fact, that tripped up nearly half of people. Look at that. Yeah, nearly half of us got that wrong. Run Marseille. Ugh, terrible. Should have second-guessed myself on that. Nearly everybody correctly placed Democritus. How is this not over 99%? It's bizarre. Because sometimes they have the thing where it's more than 99%. And often events like this where it's just overwhelmingly obvious that it would have been before. Because I think this was only the second thing to place. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Andrew Jackson placed correctly by 95% of people. Nearly a third of people misplaced Kafka and the composition of the Metamorphosis. The overwhelming majority of people correctly placed Vesta Stout and the duct tape. A tenth of people misplaced the Stonewall riots, actually. Oh, look at this. Nearly half of people also incorrectly placed Deng Xiaoping and the one-child policy. Interesting. So yeah, I guess you can still miss a couple of these and be in this category. I guess I don't quite know how the scoring works, actually. Does it say how many points each of these is? I don't quite understand why these are points instead of just number correct, but anyway, whatever. And then finally, yeah, here's an example of the over 99% correct of placing Alex Trebek as the host of Jeopardy! All right, well, there we go. Those were some interesting historical events, I think. Back next week with more of this. Bye for now.